Hi Mumfessionals, this is Alia Jaffer. Welcome to another episode of MumTalks. Today we're going to be talking about effective time management, smart parenting skills, as well as work-life balance. So we have Erum Khaja today. So Erum Khaja is a creative consultant at a very large agency, and hi.
Hello, Alia. Thanks for having me here. And let me just start by saying that I'm a major fan of this initiative of yours. I think it's just the thing we need. It's inspiring. You learn something new every day. And I'm 100% confident that this is something that's going to make a difference in a lot of women's lives. So thank you, I'd like to say, for coming up with such a great idea. Well, time management. Okay, 150 years ago, the American author Mark Twain said that if your job is to cook a frog, cook him in the morning, and if your job is to cook two frogs, cook the bigger frog first. So 150 years ago, I suspect that Mark Twain knew something about organization, time management, and doing the important things first. Whatever I believe in or whatever I use in life as a strategy, these are things that come to you organically, but some of it doesn't, and some of it is learned behavior as well. So I think one of the first things I want to say is that reading literature, reading articles, reading newspapers really helps you in formulating your strategies for life. And as a rule, I make it a point that every day something I read, small nuggets of information, whether it's a paragraph, whether it's an article, to help me think through some of those things. So I love acronyms, and there are lots of acronyms around. So I'll tell you my life's acronym or mantra or whatever you want to call it. And it's simple. It's a 3-letter word: TOP. Top of mind, top of schedule, top of your game. So what does top really mean? To me, T, time management; O, organizational ability; and P, productivity. Very, very simple, just a 3-letter word. And if I'm not on top, what am I? Just take the reverse of top, you end up at pot, right at the bottom of the pot.
So Erum, I have seen you now for like many years, and you're always, everything is in place, in order. You never seem frazzled by anything, you never seem to have a bad day. How is that possible?
Well, Alia, first, thank you for that compliment. And clearly, you haven't seen all of me lying there on my sofa, splurged out. But look, let me put it this way, right? I feel as women in this country, or globally as well, we have many roles to play in our lives. So we have two aspects to us. We have an inner life, which is about our personal ambitions, what we feel, our vision of ourselves, where we want to be, how we want to feel, and our outer life. And that outer life is really the different roles we have, the responsibilities we have, whether you're a mother or a daughter-in-law or a wife, as a parent, so many different things, as a career person, as a homemaker. So you do many things. So the idea of life is, for me, to bring that balance so I can maximize both my inner life and my outer life and fulfill those roles and responsibilities to my best. And often what happens is that sometimes when you're too focused on your outer roles and you leave your inner being, it kind of reflects. You get frazzled, like the word you used. Or you're too focused on your inner being and your world outside is feeling chaotic or out of control. Again, you feel frazzled. So really, if in an effort to perhaps put the two things together, it just brings a more calming effect, I could say, to your life.
What are your tried and tested ways of organizing your day, your life, the different aspects? How do you plan for it?
We live in an age of distraction. We are constantly being pulled by various things around us in terms of entertainment, social media, Netflix, various other things. So one of the things that I kind of made a call on, let's put it, is to reduce what I call my time calories. And calories are a good thing. You eat a big slice of cake, you feel good, it makes you feel good, it's delicious, but you don't need a lot of calories in your life. So you need to limit that. So I call them time calories. So one of the things I took a decision, let's call it that, a couple of years ago, was that I tried to limit my distractions a little bit. So one of the things is, for example, social media. To be effective, I feel somewhere I have also drawn the line on how much time I spent on entertainment outlets. Now, number two thing is the night before determines the next day. Now, what do I mean the night before? Look, I'm a creature of routine, okay, and one of the effective tools, you could say, that I use is a to-do list. Nothing amazing about that, nothing fantastical about that. We have it in the olden days, it was all written down. I use my phone, a simple notes thing. But what I feel is that by managing a very rigorous to-do list, which I formulate the night before, it helps me to just track what I need to do. You can't do 20 things in a day. None of us can. Even the best time managers, the most energetic, you really can't. So you prioritize and say, okay, today I wake up and these are the things I need to do. But that needs to be formulated the night before. 15, 20 minutes of your time, just think through, what do I need to do tomorrow? And I effectively track that to-do list. So if I've got 7 or 8 things, I just make sure it's ticked, it's done, and that way I really feel productive towards the end of the day. So it's a tried and tested. I've heard lots of people use it, so it's highly suggested. The third thing is the idea of decluttering. I am, on Netflix, there's a lady, Marie Kondo. She's inspirational, I can definitely tell you. But my mother used to say, everything in its place, a place for everything. At that time, I used to find, oh my God, what is she on about? But really, I feel decluttering my physical space helps me to declutter my mental space. So whether it's my kids' rooms, the extra books, whether it is my personal dressing table, whether it's my workspace, my workstation, I really feel that decluttering really helps you to just figure things out. The fourth thing I would say is it's a book called The Power of Habit. And in it, the author talks about keystone habits. Now, what does he mean by that? That means a couple of things that you dedicate yourself and say that these things, no matter how my day is going, these things will be done. I shall do these things. So whether it's reading, yoga, meditating, going for a swim, exercising, various things, whatever it is, cooking, knitting, I don't know what. But there have to be, I think we all get grounded if we have a couple of keystone habits that we do on a daily basis. So what I believe in, track everything. So, if it's, I've got an 8 a.m. yoga class, it says 8 a.m. yoga class, 9:30 work, call so-and-so, call dad, pick up at 4 o'clock. Even the other day, funnily you say this, I had a conversation with a colleague and she's like, yaar, she's at work, she said, yaar, har roz ka kya pakaएं? Abhi 10 calls aa rahi hain ghar se. So I said, yaar, dekho, ek to-do list rakho, पूरा हफ्ते का menu बनाओ. I do try to wake up at around 5:45. Okay, and I picked this up from somewhere saying that some of the best managers in the world wake up an hour and a half earlier than when their day actually begins. And I have found it an absolute blessing. It's so simple. I can lie there and my thoughts, I literally do some of my work at 5:45 a.m. Your mind is alive. So anyway, this is just sharing some personal tips.
So, Erum, now, we've touched upon a few of the techniques for time management. We've talked about, the inner and the outer being and how to sort of bring a balance between and to look after all parts of yourself. Let's talk about the parenting part. Let's talk about the kids. How do you go about, how do you plan for your kids so that they are, what do you say, prepped for success?
Look, we are a sandwich generation, right? And what I mean by that is that we, at critical points in our lives, are between our own parents and we are parents and our children. So it makes parenting a bigger challenge in a lot of ways. In our parents' time, for example, our parents had us, they were younger. Their parents were not older, so they basically could focus. Now with careers and a lot of the external influences, parenting has become a really tough job. I think whether you're in Pakistan or you're in the UK or the US or in Japan, everywhere, there is a lot of talk of parenting. And there is a lot of talk about the right style of parenting. What is that? There's, we've heard of helicopter parenting, we've heard of tiger moms, there was some other recently bizarre parenting term and terminology. So there is a lot around it. I mean, it's become a science by itself. Usually it was just you and your parents and they brought you up and you lived in a little home, but now things have changed. Parenting really is, it's about, when you're in an organization, for example, I work in a company, it's about teamwork, right? So I also look at parenting, or if you look at sports is about teamwork. The best teams win. They win championships, they win medals. At work, when you're a good team, you deliver, you grow your results, you grow your profits, you grow your business. So why not apply the team framework to being at home? Husbands and wives need to be a team if they're going to be effective and sustain each other for a long time. So I feel, what I tell my kids is, look, we're a team. And we're on the same side. So we're not against each other. But in any team, whether it's a football team or a team at work, there are team dynamics. Everybody isn't happy in the team all the time. People fight in teams, people argue in teams, but they're all going for the same aim. And that's what I feel. So for me, the number one thing is, treat your child, even whether he's an older child or a younger child, as part of a team. It makes the relationship a little bit more fluid. The old ways of working, the authoritarian ways, perhaps do not apply anymore. So that's one thing. I don't really believe in an authoritative style. I believe in a teamwork style. But on that comes the fact that you're still a parent, right? So one of the things that I really believe in is as much openness as possible, right? So I believe being open with your children, conversations, all the time. They don't want to always converse, but you're going to find that time at night, 15 minutes into dinner, about conversing. So I think that's really a mainstay. If I haven't had a conversation with my kids, I feel my day is incomplete. So I think that conversation might not be everything you want to hear, but you've got to hear it. And you've got to say something about it. Then I'm going to just go that while I don't believe in the old authoritarian style of parenting, I do feel that some of the traditional ways in which we were parented, some of that needs to hold.
So there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance.
Yeah.
We can't completely let that out. Even in a team, there is a manager of a team, right? They're not all equals. There's a manager of a team, right? So you're the manager of a team, and team players need to listen to their manager. So it's kind of, it's around that, right? So I think some of the old things around integrity, around respect, all those things we have to keep emphasizing, right? For our children to be effective. But what I do think is that the kids have to appreciate the element of hard work, right? I tell my kids, listen, whatever grade you get, whether you come in first in a race or you don't come. Hard work usually goes much further than anything else does.
Do you reward your kids?
Look, I tell them, yes, I do reward my kids in the sense of not material rewards. I don't reward them, but I tell them that the things that we do together as a family, that, if they've done well, they've had a hard week, let's go out for dinner. We celebrate the effort that we put in. I don't wait for the result. I mean, if my kid has worked hard, he's had a hard test week like he recently does, hey, Saturday night, we're off for dinner. I've worked hard. Other members of my family worked hard. My husband worked hard. So I do feel that that's something really important. So that's, for me, parenting is instilling that value of working hard, that value of integrity as much as we can. And
what about, sorry to interrupt, but what about, I was also the book that you had shared with me, How Children Succeed. So one of the things that I was reading in that was also about delayed gratification, and apparently the studies that have been done, that the delayed gratification gets, in a way, helps you be more successful, happier, let's say. And I think the meaning of success that they've defined in this book is that you get to college and you get to a job which pays you really well. So in today's digital age, in today's highly connected and instant gratification age, what are some of the things that you do to delay that, or to help your kids sort of stay away from that kind of stimuli?
Yeah, well, that's I'm so glad you brought that up, right? From time immemorial, right? So-called, from the story of the forbidden fruit, that's instant gratification, right? You go for that thing that you want to get a quick benefit out of. And really you see that those who have held back on that, the lessons in time, and the people in the world who have been successful, not just economically successful, but successful as people, as human beings, have really held back on that one thing which has been instant gratification. So with my kids, I always try to at least tell them that, listen, let's wait it out a bit. Let's wait it out. So especially when it comes to material things, they're like, Mom, you're so mean. And I always say that, when I'm not there anymore, you're going to look back and say, well, that kind of helped that she was mean, because it kept you back from a couple of things, and it kept you in a situation when you're not always asking for more. Right? When you ask a little less in life, and I think this comes to the idea of, you can be materially successful, but that doesn't make you materialistic. There's a big, huge, gap in that. Instant gratification borders on materialism. I'm a bit of a technophobe. I read a lot about the effects of technology on children, and some of the research, and I mean hard-nosed research out there, is astounding and astoundingly worrying. I mean, Silicon Valley execs, right? The top brass of Silicon Valley execs have left Google, have left Facebook. They're whistleblowers. It's the issue of our times. These children their minds are being rewired, their social lives are being rewired, their marital lives are rewiring. In Japan, there is a fall in couples getting together and marriage, because it is such a highly connected society that Japanese young people in their 20s, the time you are to get married, are just hooked onto their technologies. So they're not actually dating. Melinda Gates said, they asked her about technology and children and parenting, right? I mean, Melinda Gates, Bill Gates' wife, she said, one of the regrets I had, I gave my children their mobile phone too early. I wish I had waited. That's Melinda Gates talking to you. This is the man who's created the world of technology as we know it. It's a fine balance. Yes, you need it. Yes, you need to be in touch. You need to have a phone. You need to be in touch. But I'm just talking about the addictive properties and the amount of things that make them less involved in their family lives.
Erum, you've shared with us a ton full of information, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to think as to what all I can use in my personal life. Before we end, is there anything additional that you would like to share, your suggestions for the group?
But I won't call it suggestions, but look, I look at it this way. We're a population of 200 million people, and we as women are 50% of this, right? And so I really feel the driving force. I mean, we've seen the slogans, the Naya Pakistan and all of that. But what really would make that ultimate difference is, as we as 50% of the population, in whatever capacity, we're not all on the same page, at different levels, doing different things. We as women, whether you're at home, whether you're in the workplace, whether you're a teacher, whether you're an artist, whatever, we as women must maximize our effectiveness. If we to get the most out of the society we live in and to make the ultimate difference, we don't need anything else. But if the women in this country help those who are underprivileged, but there is a huge amount of us who are not underprivileged in that sense, who even in the smallest ways can make themselves more effective. I'm not saying go out and transform the world, but what I'm saying is, in our own capacities, if we become more effective, whether it's as parents, as and any other roles we have, that I think that would really make the ultimate difference in making this country and taking it to where it should be. So that's all I say, is go out there, think about your life, think how you get the most out of yourself, because we have amazing women in this country, whether it's talent, whether it's heart, mind, soul, we've got it all. We I feel, need to move it to the next level, and we're going to take, we're going to take the country to the next level.
Thank you, Erum. That was an incredible talk. Mumfessionals, I'm glad you guys could join us. If there's anything that you'd like to share with us, your comments, your feedbacks, if you'd like to share your story with us, please private message us. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.